All right. Hey, y'all. Welcome to the Empty Nest Quest. We are back.
Yay.
I know.
So happy to be back and be on this journey,
I know.
continued journey.
Yeah. And Jennifer and I have been apart almost as long as it's been since we talked to y'all because
Seriously.
we've had, just life. So this is technically, I guess you could say it's like our third season. We did sort of a big one long season the first time with a tiny break in the middle, but we could kind of say it's like our third season.
Yes.
We've been doing this a year, so we're so thankful for those of you who have been with us since the start, and we hope that some of you have come along since then
and continue sharing and getting the word out. Any of those empty nesters or those of us that are in this fun perimenopause, menopause section, this or area of our life, I guess you could say.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, it's crazy. It's busy time, but good.
Yeah,
all good stuff.
It is good.
So the episode today is really focused around social media and how we consume social media and what effects it has on us. And I kind of thought about this idea because a friend of mine ran into someone that she has not seen in years in a parking lot after shopping. And she mentioned to me, she was like, it is so interesting because I thought just from seeing what she had put on social media, I really thought this lady had like the perfect life. Her and her family looked picture perfect, what they were doing, their vacations. She goes, it ends up, she's got stuff going on just like everybody else. And I was like, that is the case for everyone. It's just, we're not reminded of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, and she actually said, she was like, you and Melinda need to get on this subject. Y'all need to do an episode about this because it's such a facade about social media, what people put out there. And almost everyone is, I don't want to say guilty because that gives off kind of a negative connotation.
Well, it's just more what it is. I think it's like, I think it's like, you've said before, social media is really like looking at someone's photo album when you used to go over to their house and they had the photo album on the coffee table.
Right.
And that is what social media is now, except what we do. And I think people did it when we had photo albums too. I think that if we went over to somebody's house and we saw their photo album and they had all these great trips in theirs, our photo albums of just backyard barbecues looked really lame. And then all of a sudden we felt like, why don't we travel more?
Right.
So it's now just heightened because instead of it being these random moments when you see someone's actual printed photos, now it's
everywhere
all the time.
Yes.
And there's so many social media platforms. We don't even know all of them because we're too old to know all of them.
Right. We are not that hip at all.
But it's everywhere.
It is.
And the thing is even the conversations we have out there, like obviously, even those of us who are trying to, I'm on there partly for my business. And so I'm trying to promote like vulnerability and being real. But I'm also not, even with all that said, I'm not going to take my problems in real time to social media because that is not where they need to be hashed out.
Right.
Because we also see people who do that get crucified.
Yes.
So,
well, and I just don't think, I think a lot of times, I feel like that is inappropriate because you're kind of exposing other people.
Yes.
Like your children or your husband or your neighbor or your best, your friends. And that's not really, it's not the appropriate place to do that. That's at least how I look at it.
Yeah.
But I do think and I compare this, I just thought about this, the comparison to social media. Like we used to go over to someone's house, look at their photo albums that were on their bookshelves. That was a glimpse into their lives, right? So now we don't get just a glimpse. We have 24 hour a day access to their life. And I think it is the same thing with our news.
Mm-hmm.
Used to, we would all gather around, if you're around Melinda and I's age, we would gather around, we had the 6 o'clock news. Well, then it got to where it's a 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock news. But that was it. Now it is 24 hours a day. We have access to news.
Mm-hmm.
Is that really a good thing?
Right.
I don't think so.
And it does the same thing. It's kind of like, what was that book we had to read in school? Was it called like 1984 or something? And it felt like sci-fi, where all the people were walking around with all the noise in their ears.
Yes.
And you would just be like, this is so ridiculous. When would this ever happen? Oh, whoops, now.
Oh, it's happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so and the whole point of that book is how it numbs everybody out.
Right.
And kind of dumbs them down into worrying about all the stuff that doesn't matter. And then they kind of don't have that sense of, autonomy in their life, that sense of agency, that sense of like, my choices matter. It's almost like it makes you feel like it doesn't matter what I do.
Right.
And it kind of lets you feel it puts in my language, and I know this is sort of like a little bit of like therapy language, but it makes people feel really disempowered. It like you lose your sense of who you are. And so then we fall into those weird places of like, we act like a victim, or we act resentful, or we act like a martyr, because we feel this weird resentment that we don't even know where it's come from.
Right. And I think that's a lot of it too. You don't know if you are consuming this really fake world that you have that little peak. Imagine like a peak. What is it called? The hole in the door. Peak. I mean, is it a peak hole? No.
What is it called in the hotel door? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Peep hole? That sounds naughty. What do you call
Obviously, we did not plan this out. But
the hole
that
in
is
the door.
the hole in the door that you look through to see who it is, right?
Yeah.
It is just this little bitty tunnel vision.
Mm-hmm.
That is, if you kind of in your mind, when you're scrolling social media and you're looking at someone's life, you're looking at someone's vacation, you're looking at someone's home, whatever it may be, that is the lens that you need to think about. That is how much you're really seeing.
Mm-hmm.
You're just seeing a glimpse.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we get into this comparison trap
mm-hmm.
where we are comparing our lives to other people's lives. And that is that's a recipe for unhappiness.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to steal your joy.
Yeah.
Because you're in that constant comparison, where if you really think about it, somebody else is doing the same thing about your life.
Yeah, I feel like what I have, and it's like, what can we do about that? And I feel like one of the things that I've tried to start doing is pay attention as I'm scrolling.
Yes.
To how I'm feeling.
Yes.
And is it like, oh my gosh, this is so fun to catch up and see what everybody's doing? Or am I starting to feel that kind of weird, edgy feeling where, because there's science behind this.
Yes.
We keep scrolling because you get a dopamine hit.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is these dopamine hits that this scientist I was listening to, these dopamine hits that we're getting, instead of it being like, oh, how satisfying, now I'll put my phone down, the hit says something more to us, like, if I keep scrolling, I'm going to get the next big hit. It's kind of like a cigarette, right? That you just need that one more puff, Whoops, better get one more cigarette. It's like that. And
you don't even realize you're doing it. It is it's become so much a part of our routine that it's like you're going to have to, it's like breaking a bad habit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is ingrained in our brain. And these are just a couple little statistics that I looked up. The average adult woman spends 3 to 4 hours a day on her phone.
Oh, at least.
That is, if you think about that, I mean, that is out of every day, it's over one full day per week that you are on your phone. And that the statistics I looked up says that midlife women have seen a 50% increase in anxiety and depression since 2020. And I have to believe that this social comparison that you get wrapped up into is a reason for that.
Oh, 100%. I listened to this. I wish I remembered his name, but I listened to an interview. This man that became a monk, he had like a really hard life of addiction and anxiety. And so he went just to go to a retreat.
Right.
And then he has stayed and like devoted his life, and he's a monk. But he said that when he did this one retreat that was 4 years long, and when he went into the retreat, he only knew like 5 people that had a BlackBerry. When he came out of the retreat and walked the streets, he said he felt like he was in an alter universe because iPhones had come along and smartphones. And he said he was looking around like, whoa, the whole world has changed. He was like, everyone's head was down. He said, so it was so jolting to him because he didn't get the gradual trickle of it like we did.
Right.
He like went off into the mountains and the world was one way, and he came back and it was another. And and then he talks about people that, you know, now he leads retreats, and he talks about how like the toxic load of exactly what you're saying that our phones are doing, because then we're not doing the things that is taking time that we would be doing something else.
Right.
And so I confess that I look on my statistics each week, and I get so upset with myself. And I know it's everything. I know your screen time is everything. I mean, it's my email. It's I honestly do far too much on my phone and don't put my phone down and go to a laptop because I have just taken the.
Well, it's made things so easy.
And I mean my girls say, because my phone's as big as an iPad.
Right. That's true.
It's ginormous. But regardless,
which we need.
Yes,
with our aging.
You got to have the progressive lenses, the large print phone, which means your screen needs to get bigger, or there's only going to be 3 words on the screen. So you know that's a whole nother problem. But I spend way too much time, and and then to me, one of the other things that I remember learning years ago, phone or no phone, that if you're going to stop one bad habit, you really can't just stop that habit. You have to replace it with something.
Yes.
And I think this is where, we are comparing ourselves.
Right.
Right. And getting caught in the loop of like, and then I think we don't even know we're comparing ourselves.
Oh, you don't realize
we're just shame spiraling about like, well, why don't we do this? And why aren't Johnny and I going to concerts all the time like Jennifer and Mike? Why aren't we? Why didn't we go
wrong
to
with us?
Yes. Yeah, why didn't we go to every home game tailgate for the UGA games? I mean, why? You know, it's just so easy to like pick your life apart when your life might be perfectly fine.
It's perfectly fine for you. Right.
Or if your life is having challenges, holy moly, do you need to double down on it with the spiking it up with comparing. But I don't even think we realize we're doing that. That's the part that I think is the slippery slope, is we think comparison means I wish my house was as nice as hers.
Right.
That it's not that obvious. Our brains are so much sneakier. And so I just feel like we have to find things to replace that time with.
Right.
And that's where it gets tricky for us, because a lot of us feel a little bit lost right now.
Right.
And we're not even sure if we put our phone down, what else there is to do. So we pick it back up.
Right.
Would you think do you think that's true?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I feel like it's got to be so intentional with your time. Now, I did not have that on my phone where it tracked my screen time. So I added it this morning. Ooh. So I'm really curious, because I think it's going to be like a huge slap in the face.
It's eye-opening.
But like you said, we have businesses that we have to use our phone.
Yeah.
I have to use social media. So I'm not really counting that. What I'm counting as possibly negative is the doomsday scrolling.
Oh, yeah.
Where you just scroll and scroll and scroll. Do you want to hear a funny little story?
Yes.
This is how unintentional it can be. So this was a couple weeks ago, and Mike won't care that I tell this story, but he was it was in the middle of the night. Got up, went to the restroom, came back, and I saw his phone. He was rolled over to the side, and I saw his phone was lit up. Okay. So I'm like, oh, he's probably having a hard time sleeping, Well, I lay back down, and then he starts snoring. And I was like, but I noticed the phone was still lit up. And I was like, wait a minute. He's snoring, but his phone is lit up. So I got up on my elbow and peeked over. He was sound asleep, had his phone up in front of his face, and was scrolling. Now, he wasn't scrolling anything because he was asleep.
Interesting.
But that shows how hardwired our brain is to scroll, and we don't even have to be looking at anything.
Isn't that wild?
I'm like, oh, I told him that, and he was like, no way. I was
right.
like, oh,
he was probably having a dream about it.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's so crazy. Well, I just remember when the girls, like when TikTok first came out,
right?
And they watched it used to just be everybody doing the little trends,
right.
the little song dances,
yeah.
And I would hear a song like over and over and over playing like from one of their bedrooms, and I'd go in there and they'd be dead asleep, passed out, and the phone would be just on the bed. But I guess, and I don't know if it still does
like
this, but
replay.
it just kept replaying that same song
on the loop
so many times. But that about the scrolling that is so funny.
It just becomes such a habit. So I think one thing I've asked myself, because I literally do everything on my phone. I do my Bible study on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I do, work stuff on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is email. Everything is on the phone. So with the scrolling though, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, kind of asking myself, okay, am I using social media or is social media using me?
Oh, good question, Jennifer.
Because if we are honest with ourselves, I would say most of the time social media is using us.
Mm-hmm.
And if I want to go on and wish people happy birthdays or, check on a friend that may have had a sick loved one or something like that, then I am using it. Mm-hmm. It's being used. But it can be flipped very easily. And that's where you get into trouble.
Right.
And, it's just, I think if first of all, what I would recommend everyone does is check your screen time. And if
you
you're
can set limits.
Yes.
I have mine set, but then you know what I do? It goes, your limit is up.
You put in your little code.
And I go, ignore, because I'm watching something.
But you know what? It can just make you aware.
Right.
I think if we're aware, you can't monitor what you don't take note of.
Right.
And so I think for us just to be aware of, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was on social media 4 hours a day, because all those little times really add up. So that is something that I've made a commitment to is I'm going to just start looking at that time and just being aware of how much time I do that. And I am really bad about first thing in the morning, last thing at night, just scrolling. And, and I'm trying to justify it by saying, oh, it just relaxes me. Well, I need to find something else to do instead, because it's just, the bottom line is it is not healthy. And what we see on social media is not real life. It is a little snippet. It is that person's photo album that we used to have on our bookshelves in our living rooms. That is what their social media account is right now.
Well, and I want to say the other side of it that I see myself getting affected by, and like some of my clients and friends, is that I find that this might not be true, but this is just what's true for me.
Right.
On Facebook, I see it kind of is more the photo album feel.
Right.
Then when I go over to Instagram or TikTok, I end up watching a lot of like people that I find to be inspirational. Like it's almost like a little baby podcast.
Right.
Like I get these little inspirational messages,
very true.
Which is wonderful when it's feeling inspirational. But there is a tipping point where it becomes that it's almost like if you read too many self-help books and you never do anything with the information
Right.
to change your actions,
Yeah.
it becomes that for me.
Yes.
At some point, it's like, all right, Melinda, you've watched 30 videos about yoga. Maybe you should just get up and do some yoga.
Right.
Or you know what I mean? Or you've watched 40 recipes and you've watched 40 people cook. Maybe just put your phone down and go make the recipe.
Yeah.
And so I will say that I did the other day. A friend posted, like, I love this recipe. It's my like great grandmother's chicken salad, and I've like it was Brooks Vaughn. We've had her on here before. So Brooks posted this really great recipe that she has like made into like anti-inflammatory approved kind of thing.
Awesome.
And I was like, I'm going to make that right now because I'd been wanting to make chicken salad.
Right.
It was so delicious. We have loved it. And it was actually so fun because I hopped right up off my phone. I screenshotted it real quick.
That's awesome.
I made it.
Love when you have all the ingredients.
I was only missing one ingredient. It didn't matter.
That's the best.
And it was the best. And so I think sometimes, like what you said, if we pause and say, okay, I've gotten all these fun ideas off of here, even if you're not just scrolling your friends' stuff and you've gotten all these ideas, have you done anything with any of these ideas lately? And maybe give yourself a chance to do something. Because I think a lot of times we truly think, I don't know what to do if I get off social media. What are my choices here? And it's like blazing hot in Georgia right now. So we're out. You might used to bolt up and
take
go
a
for a walk. You
or,
might be like, well, it's too hot right now. I got to wait till later.
We're not taking a walk.
Yeah. But it's like maybe your idea to get you off of your phone could be, if you're like me now, everybody else might not be this neurotic, but I save all kinds of stuff.
Oh my gosh.
I have saved recipes, saved travel.
I text myself. Like I can't tell you how productive I would be if I just looked at the text I sent myself. What is wrong with me? I'm like,
you're your own life coach.
Oh my gosh, I just need to read my own text.
And don't count that against your screen time.
That's right. That's productive. Yeah, if I would just look at that, I mean, I would be busy for weeks.
Oh my gosh. So
I think just think about it. That is, so when you get into this comparison or you're feeling, like Melinda said, a little uneasy, and it can be very sneaky, can sneak up on us. So I think we've just got to be really intentional. And I think to start the day off, we've talked about morning routines and everything, just to start the day off with something positive. And that just kind of gets you on the right track. And I'm going to really make a commitment. And first of all, I'm going to become aware of how much screen time I really do. How much screen time I'm seeing a day, because right now I don't know. And so I do feel like that will be very interesting.
Yeah.
And then just being aware that, instead of doomsday scrolling, what else can I do to replace that time?
Yes.
How can I start using social media instead of social media using us?
I love that reminder. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So anyway, we challenge y'all to do the same. Go on. And if you want to know how to do it, because I'm not the most tech savvy person in the world. So you just go on to your settings. If you have an iPhone, go on to your settings and then just scroll down and you'll actually see just a little heading that says screen time. So just click on that and then you can really set the settings to whatever you want. Like Melinda said, you can actually set limits for yourself. Right now, I'm not doing that because I just want to be aware of how much time I really am using it. And so anyway, I would definitely challenge you to do the same. There's a huge correlation between, the increased rise in depression and anxiety for women in midlife and the increased use of social media.
Absolutely. There really is.
Just say no to doomsday scrolling. That's my message today.
Yes.
So anyway.
Thank y'all for being with us.
Yes. I hope y'all go out and have a great day. Please share with all of your midlife friends.
Yes. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.